By the end of this video, you will know exactly which debt payoff strategy will work fastest for your specific situation, and you'll have a step-by-step plan you can start today that could save you thousands of dollars and years of payments. Here's something that shocked me when I first discovered it. The average American household carries over $37,000 in debt, not including their mortgage. That's credit cards, car loans, student loans, personal loans, all of it stacking up month after month. And here's the thing that keeps most people trapped. It's not that they don't want to pay off their debt. It's that they're using the wrong strategy for their psychology and they don't even know it. But before we get to the one factor that determines which method will actually work for you long term, something most financial advisors never discuss with their clients because it doesn't fit neatly into a spreadsheet, let's start with the fundamentals. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 things that will completely change how you approach your debt. First, the exact mathematical difference between the Avalanche and Snowball methods, with real numbers so you can see precisely how much money is at stake. Second, the psychological triggers that cause 80% of people to fail with one method while thriving with the other. And third, a hybrid approach that combines the best of both worlds, something I've personally seen help people pay off debt 40% faster than using either method alone. Quick, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by debt like you're making payments every month but the balances barely move, hit the like button right now. It tells the algorithm this content is valuable and helps us reach more people who are stuck in the same situation. Let me paint a picture for you. Sarah has 4 debts: a credit card with a $6,000 balance at 22% interest, a car loan with $12,000 at 7%, student loans totaling $18,000 at 5%, and a personal loan of $3,000 at 15%. Every single month, she pays the minimums on everything. She watches $800 leave her bank account, and at the end of the year she checks her balances and realizes she's barely made a dent. The credit card balance dropped by maybe $400 total because the rest went straight to interest. She did everything she was supposed to do. She paid on time, every time, and she still feels like she's drowning. This is the debt trap that catches 47 million Americans right now. You're not paying off debt, you're renting it. Month after month, year after year, you're paying for the privilege of staying in debt. The average person will spend over $5,000 per year just on interest payments. That's $416 every month that could be going toward your future, your retirement, your kids' education, your freedom. But here's what nobody tells you. The problem isn't discipline. The problem isn't even income. The problem is strategy. And choosing the wrong debt payoff strategy for your personality type is like trying to run a marathon in shoes 2 sizes too small. You might finish eventually, but you'll be miserable the entire way, and there's a very good chance you'll quit before you reach the finish line. Let's break down the debt avalanche method first because, mathematically speaking, this is the optimal approach. Here's how it works. You list all your debts from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. You pay minimums on everything except the debt with the highest interest rate. Every extra dollar you have goes toward that top interest debt until it's completely gone. Then you take everything you were paying on that first debt and roll it into the next highest interest rate debt. Rinse and repeat until you're debt-free. Let me show you exactly what this looks like with Sarah's situation. Her credit card at 22% is the clear priority. If she has an extra $300 per month to throw at debt, every penny goes to that credit card first. Using this method, Sarah pays off all her debt in 47 months and pays a total of $4,200 in interest. Now compare that to just paying minimums across the board. That would take her over 9 years and cost her over $11,000 in interest. The Avalanche method saves Sarah nearly $7,000 and more than 5 years of payments. That's real money. That's a vacation. That's an emergency fund. That's freedom. Here's where most people get this wrong with the Avalanche method. They see those big numbers and get excited, but they don't account for motivation. If your highest interest debt is also your largest balance, you might be attacking that debt for 18 months or longer before you see it disappear. And for many people, that's where the wheels come off. The debt snowball method takes a completely different approach, and it's the strategy that made Dave Ramsey famous. Here's the framework. You list all your debts from smallest balance to largest balance, regardless of interest rate. You pay minimums on everything except the smallest debt. Every extra dollar attacks that smallest balance until it's gone. Then you roll that payment into the next smallest debt. You're building momentum like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and faster as it goes. Back to Sarah's situation. Using the snowball method, she attacks that $3,000 personal loan first, even though it's only at 15% interest while her credit card sits at 22%. She pays off that personal loan in just 7 months. That's a win. That's a debt completely eliminated from her life. Then she rolls that payment into her credit card, then her car loan, then her student loans. Using the snowball method, Sarah pays off all her debt in 51 months and pays a total of $5,100 in interest. That's 4 months longer and $900 more than the Avalanche method. Stop. Before I continue, this next part is critical. $900 is real money. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. Would you rather save $900 on paper, or would you rather actually become debt-free? Because a 2016 study from Harvard Business Review found that people using the snowball method were more likely to eliminate their debt entirely. The psychological wins matter. Seeing a debt disappear from your list creates dopamine. It proves the system is working. It keeps you in the game. Now let's talk about the factor that determines which method will actually work for you, and this is where most financial advice falls short. Your debt payoff strategy needs to match your motivation style. There are 2 types of people when it comes to long-term goals. Results-driven people are motivated by efficiency and optimization. They can delay gratification because they trust the math. Seeing the interest savings keeps them going even when progress feels slow. Momentum-driven people need visible wins to stay motivated. They're energized by checking things off a list. Long stretches without tangible progress drain their willpower. Neither type is better or worse, but using the wrong strategy for your type is a recipe for failure. Here's a simple test. Think about the last time you tried to form a new habit. Did you stick with it because you tracked metrics and saw gradual improvement over months? Or did you need quick wins and visible milestones to stay engaged? If you thrive on data and optimization, the Avalanche method will feel satisfying. If you need wins to stay motivated, the snowball method will keep you in the fight. I need to pause here because this is where most people go wrong. They choose their strategy based on what sounds smart instead of what matches their psychology. And then they blame themselves when they fall off the wagon. It's not a willpower problem, it's a strategy mismatch. Let's look at when the Avalanche method makes the most sense with specific scenarios. If you have a high-interest debt that's also relatively small, the Avalanche method is almost always the right choice. Imagine you have a $500 store credit card at 28% interest. That's your smallest debt and your highest interest debt. Both methods would have you attack it first, so there's no conflict. The Avalanche method also wins decisively when there's a big interest rate gap between your debts. If you have a credit card at 24% and a car loan at 3%, the math heavily favors paying the credit card first, regardless of balances. Every dollar you put toward that high-interest debt is working almost 10 times harder than a dollar toward the car loan. But here's what nobody tells you about the Avalanche method. It requires you to trust future savings over present satisfaction. You need to genuinely feel motivated by the knowledge that you're saving money on interest, even when your statement shows a debt that's barely budging. If that doesn't light a fire in you, the Avalanche method might work on paper, but fail in practice. This next section changed everything for me when I was paying off my own debt. The snowball method shines in specific situations that the pure math people often overlook. If you have several small debts clustered together, the snowball method creates rapid momentum. Imagine you have 3 debts under $1,000 each. Using the snowball method, you could eliminate all 3 within 6 months. That's 3 debts gone, 3 fewer minimum payments, 3 fewer accounts to track, 3 fewer opportunities to miss a payment and get hit with late fees. The psychological benefit compounds. Each eliminated debt simplifies your financial life. You're not just paying off money, You're buying back mental bandwidth. The snowball method also works brilliantly if you're new to budgeting. Those quick wins teach you that your efforts produce real results. They train your brain to associate debt payments with positive emotions. You're literally rewiring your relationship with money one small victory at a time. Here's where most people get the snowball method wrong. They dismiss it as financially irrational without considering the behavioral economics. A strategy you'll actually follow for 4 years beats a perfect strategy you'll abandon in 4 months. Every single time. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of 95% of people. And what I'm about to share in this next section is the most valuable part of this entire video. Don't skip it. Subscribe to Wealth Decode Plus if you haven't already. We drop a brand new money strategy every single day at 6 p.m. Hit that notification bell so you never miss one. Now let me show you the hybrid approach that combines the best of both methods, something I call the momentum avalanche. Here's how it works. First, list all your debts with their balances and interest rates. Second, identify any quick win debts, balances under $1,000 that you could eliminate within 3 months. Attack those first using the snowball approach, regardless of interest rate. Third, once you've cleared those quick wins and built momentum, switch to the avalanche method for your remaining larger debts. This hybrid approach gives you the psychological wins you need in the beginning, while optimizing for interest savings on the larger debts where it actually matters. Think about it this way. The difference in interest between a $500 debt at 12% and a $500 debt at 20% is maybe $15 over the payoff period. That's nothing. But the difference between staying motivated and quitting is everything. Most people skip this step. Don't. The hybrid approach also includes a motivation checkpoint every 90 days. You review your progress, calculate how much interest you've saved, and count how many debts you've eliminated. You're tracking both metrics because both matter. Let me give you a specific example of how this plays out. Marcus has 5 debts. Credit card 1 has a balance of $800 at 19%. Credit card 2 has $4,000 at 22%. A car loan has $11,000 at 6%. Student loans total $23,000 at 5%. A personal loan has $2,200 at 14%. Using the hybrid approach, Marcus attacks credit card 1 first because it's under $1,000, a quick win. He eliminates it in 2 months. The momentum is real. Now he feels like a debt-destroying machine. Then he shifts to the avalanche method and attacks credit card 2 because it has the highest remaining interest rate. This takes him 11 more months, but he stays motivated because he already has 1 win under his belt. He continues through his debts, optimizing for interest savings while maintaining the psychological momentum from that early victory. Using this hybrid approach, Marcus pays off all his debt in 52 months and pays $4,800 in interest. He saves $300 compared to pure snowball while getting that crucial early win. Let's talk about what you can actually do starting today. Right now, before this video ends, I want you to take 10 minutes and list every single debt you have. Write down the name of the creditor, the current balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. Don't guess. Log into your accounts and get the real numbers. This simple act takes your debt from an abstract source of anxiety and turns it into a concrete problem with a solution. This week, I want you to calculate your total debt and your total minimum payments. Then identify how much extra money you can realistically put toward debt each month. Be honest with yourself. If it's $50, that's fine. If it's $500, even better. The number matters less than the consistency. Then run the numbers both ways. There are free calculators online like Undebt.it and Debt Payoff Planner that let you input your debts and compare the Avalanche versus Snowball timelines. Seeing your specific numbers makes this real. This month, commit to your strategy and automate it. Set up automatic payments so the decision is made once and executed forever. You're not relying on willpower every single month. You're building a system that works even when motivation fades. Now let me answer the question I planted at the very beginning of this video. The factor most financial advisors never discuss with their clients because it doesn't fit neatly into a spreadsheet is this. The best debt payoff strategy is the one that matches your psychological endurance, not the one that looks best on a calculator. Financial mathematics assumes you're a robot who will execute the optimal strategy perfectly for years. But you're a human being with emotions, stress, unexpected expenses, and days when you want to give up. The strategy that acknowledges your humanity and builds in psychological wins will outperform the mathematically perfect strategy every single time. Here are your 3 key takeaways. 1. The Avalanche method saves the most money by attacking highest interest debt first, but it requires patience and trust in the math. 2. The Snowball method builds momentum by attacking smallest balances first, creating quick wins that keep you motivated. 3. The hybrid approach gives you the best of both worlds, quick wins early followed by interest optimization on larger debts. Comment below and tell me which of these 3 strategies are you going to try first. I read every single comment and I'll personally reply to as many as I can. In tomorrow's video, I'm revealing the exact payment schedule that accelerates any debt payoff strategy by up to 30%, something that took me years to figure out and most people never learn because it involves timing your payments in a way that banks don't advertise. Subscribe right now so you don't miss it.